Ladies and gentlemen, you know what that sound means. It's another edition of the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network in conjunction with Clear Production Sports. Looks like we got a highlight of something going on for the Hurricanes already. But first and foremost, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. And it's still a line from my boy DJ Pop Wreck, grandmammies and grandpappies. Welcome. This is the big guy KG. That is my man Matty K. I think we got Big Jack joining us in a little bit, so we're gonna get that going. Looks like we got some technical difficulties going real quick, but hey Matt, how's everything going, man?
Just even better now because Orlov next Washington Capital just made it 2-1 Washington or 2-1 Carolina with a little tip in front with
There
5
you
seconds
go.
left in the first period. So that's even better.
Saw the reaction. So we're at the
Sorry.
the end of the first.
End of the first, Carolina's up 2-1. Yes.
All right, cool. So ladies and gentlemen, what we're gonna give you today, we're gonna run through the hockey first round results. We're gonna give you the second round predictions. We're gonna talk about the Caps a little bit, and then we have a baseball segment, kind of just talking about some of the surprises, some things that we think are going the way we thought it was going to go, and basically that's it. So get ready for takeoff. Let's go. All right, Matt. So we had you in right before the playoffs started. We started with predictions.
Yep.
So do you have the recap of the first round?
Yeah, and it was for me at least. It was a good first round. Went 7-1. So I am always happy whenever you can get 7 out of the 8 series right in total. That's always a good start. And then also had 4 of them right. No wait, 5 actually. It was 5 series right with the in the amount of games that's going to happen in, which I never get that part right. So I'm always ecstatic when you can pull that off. But yeah, it was a good first round. The two, we only had 2 game 7s, which is a little disappointing. I like my game 7s, but we only had the 2 with Boston and Toronto and Vegas and Dallas, which were definitely the 2 best series.
So since those were the most recent ones, let's start with those 2. So if we got a quick recap on Boston.
Yep, Boston Toronto was 7 games. Boston was up 3-1. For those that may remember from last year, they also were up 3-1 against Florida, then lost 3 in a row. So I was torn on that series at that point in time because I really don't like Toronto. So I enjoy watching their fans suffer, and they've been suffering a lot lately, which is good fun. I also would have enjoyed if Boston would have choked another series after choking away the series to Florida. So I was kind of torn on who I wanted to win, but that one actually went to overtime, which there's nothing better than a game 7 overtime. But Boston ended it quickly with the goal. Jared Swayman's just was incredible that game. He's taken that into the Florida series, which we'll get to that in a little bit. But that series was about everything I think everyone expected. Just Boston's power play ended up being a little bit too much towards the end, and then the game 7 was just which goalie was going to crack first, and it was a heck of a move by Pasta to score the goal to win the series.
All right, then what's the who do they end up with?
So they get Florida. Florida took care of Tampa Bay in 5. A little surprised that they took care of them so easily, but Florida's just such. Tampa is another. You have the 3 aging teams of earlier between I would put the Caps, the Pens, and the Bolts kind of all in the same, and the Bolts are now kind of in that same spot with Stamkos being a free agent after this year. Of what's going to happen to Tampa, and Florida's just a complete team, and they just took care of business, and they stayed out of the box. If Florida can be smart and stay out of the box, that works well for them, and they did that whole series against Tampa.
All right, real quick, you're Tampa. Let's not worry about cap situation. Do you sign Stamkos or let him go?
I think you got to bring him back. He's the face of the franchise forever. I think he still put up a good amount of points this year. I can't remember the exact number, but it's not like he had single digit goals. The guy can still produce, and he sells jerseys and he sells merch. He's another one of those guys. I think him, Crosby, and Ovi now, you can't let him go into another team's jersey. You just can't.
Okay. Hey KG. So far we recapped 2 series on the East. We're about to go into the Cap series right now. Caps Rangers. The Rangers, they brought up the broom on them.
Yeah, it was just. I mean, I was hoping that maybe the Caps could get a game or two in, but what they needed to go perfect was they needed a great penalty kill. They had to score power play goals, and they needed Lindgren to probably steal a game or two. Um, None of those things happened, and unfortunately, too, Ovi was held scoreless for the entire playoffs, which has not happened. I'm not even sure if it's ever happened, honestly. But he's 38. I just he seemed to be missing something, and he was frustrated a couple different times, which I've never seen him show that type of frustration in a playoff series. But he's got a lot of young guys with him, and I think he's gonna have to learn that part too. That he's gonna have to bring them along a little bit.
Duval Paul checking in says Stamkos was their top player in the series and by a mile too.
Agree, he was. He outperformed everybody in that series for sure. He almost willed them to win that game 5 too. So he gave them every shot that they could have, and then Florida just pulled away in the third.
Yeah, that game was tough to watch because you could see him pushing, and it's like when you're in a battle and you just know you just outgunned. That's kind of what it looked like.
Yep. And Tampa had 2 goals called back that game for goalie interference, which goalie interference in the NHL is you just it's I swear in Toronto when they review them they flip a coin because there's no heads or tails from one game to the next of what is and isn't goaltender interference. So and then right after they got 1 goal disallowed, Florida went down and scored, and that was it.
All right, then let's close it out real quick on the east side with your boys and the Islanders.
Yeah, Canes took care of the Islanders in 5. It was I'm not really sure the Canes ever played a full 60 minutes in that whole entire series, but their power play was really good. Freddie was really good, and the Islanders were probably legitimately the second or third worst team in the playoffs, I would say. So I think they did what they had to do. Getting it done in 5 was good, but I'm not sure they particularly played really well. They had a lot of balanced scoring, which is good to see. Nobody had to go crazy, but they got the job done.
Cool. So let's what is it?
Don't go
I
in
saw
the
Paul's
blue on
comment.
your own, and it's not a problem.
That's a valid point. But even then, sometimes you don't go in the blue and they still call goaltender interference. So who knows?
All right, so
Let me ask. I got a question, and this is the homer in me. This is the Caps fan in me. What can be done to save this franchise from the peril that's coming?
Well, we got you jumping ahead of us a little bit. We got that later on. We got a spot for that.
Oh,
yeah, we got you. We got you.
Put a pin in it, right?
Yeah, just put it in.
Put a pin in it.
All right, so let's knock out the West real quick.
Yep.
Let's start with the 7 game.
Yeah.
Vegas and
Dallas Vegas was just an incredible series. It probably was the best series, which going into it, I figured whoever got Vegas, at that time it wasn't really sure who it was going to be, but that was going to be the series, and it ended up being that. Vegas took the first 2 games on the road. Dallas came back, won the next 2 games on the road, and then the home team held court the last 3 games. A bit of history: Vegas is only the 4th team in NHL history to be the defending champs, go up 2-0 in the first round, and then lose their series. And that hasn't happened since the 90s. But so I'm kind of happy that Vegas is out, just because they use the LTIR to their advantage with getting a couple guys in. And when they won those first 2 games, I was like, oh boy, and talk about being what would have been totally just screwing a team that had the best record in the West. Congratulations, you get Vegas, and which is already kind of sucks for them. But Dallas, they're a complete team. They've got great D. Ottinger played great in goal when he needed to, and they got some scoring from some of their kids too. So,
all right, then let's go ahead and finish off that side of the bracket with the Jets and the Avalanche.
yeah, that was the only one I lost. And I'm not really that surprised that Colorado beat Winnipeg, because that was a pick'em series. I think you could make an argument for whoever won that series that they could go on to the Cup final. What was a surprise is Colorado completely played their style game. It was up and down the ice. They put up 5 goals a game on who's likely going to be the Vezina Trophy winner, Connor Hellebuyck for Winnipeg. They just made him look like a like Swiss cheese basically in goal. And I just that was what was so surprising to me. Not that Colorado won it, but how easily they won it and what they did to Hellebuyck. Just mop the floor with them, really.
And then let's go ahead down. What was that? The Canucks.
Yeah, Canucks took care of Nashville. They that was in 6 games, and it was dicey there for Vancouver because they were down to their 3rd string goalie. Thatcher Demko got hurt in game 1. Then they had Casey DeSmith, which is an old, any Penguins fans out there would know him. Then he got hurt, so they had to call up their guy from the AHL who's only had 6 NHL games experience. And Vancouver went into this basically a rope-a-dope. They were playing strong D. They weren't really looking to score that much, and they scored just enough. And Nashville's that they're a solid team, but they don't have those goal scorer threats, and Vancouver ended up taking care of it in Nashville. They're down 1 goal, which looked like we might have had another game 7, and they scored 2 goals in the last minute to get to overtime, and then won it in overtime in game 6 to end that series.
And then any question, the Oilers and the Kings.
Yeah, that one was pretty much chalk. I mean, I didn't really like LA that much in the playoffs. I think that they were kind of the worst team in the playoffs, and sadly to say maybe behind Washington, but with right there with Washington, the Islanders, and Edmonton took care of business. 5 games. They surprisingly they actually showed they had a couple good defensive games with Skinner in goal, and like that team's figured out how to play some defense with the guys that they got up front. That they're going to be scary the rest of the way.
All right, and real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we are joined by PG County's finest, as Lee Ice calls him, the man, the myth, the legend, Jack Carr. What's going on, Jack? How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. I apologize, fellas. I'm straight off the ball field. I rushed, man.
No need to apologize. we brought this in because we knew you was going to have to take some time. So you good, man.
Thank you.
We just recapping the first round of the NHL series. KG's about to give us, because Matt and I did picks, and Matt said he was 7-1. So that probably means I was 3-4 or something 3-5 or something like that. What was the results, KG?
Well, hell. I don't even know what my book is. I don't know what my book is. Look, when I lose the book. So.
Oh, boy. No, I think I only had 3 right because I picked a lot of offense.
I think we picked the Caps.
Right, I know for a fact.
Yeah, I think we did, but we was hoping that the Caps actually scratched them.
That was just home cooking right there.
That was all hard. That was all home.
The Rangers, man, no.
Jack, I was 2 seconds from placing the bet on taking the Caps to win the series outright, and just because the numbers didn't look good enough is the only reason I didn't do it. But whenever
you think of something like that, just come over and bring me the money, because that's
I don't have the sweat of the return.
Yeah, not try to make smart bets, man. Not whales. You're trying to hit a home run. That.
Hey, man, that's my lifestyle, man. I'm all gas, no
like
brakes.
Me putting $100 on the Rockies to win the World Series.
If you believe.
Okay.
Oh,
sound like Philly now.
All right, I disappeared. But Matty Ice had the New York Rangers in 6. BC and myself had the Caps in 7. Lost that one. Matty Ice had Florida in 5. Midnight Rider had Tampa Bay in 6.
Yep.
That's 2. Boston and Toronto. Both of you gentlemen had Boston. Matty Ice had it in 7. Midnight Rider had it in 6. Carolina versus the Islanders. Both had Carolina. Carolina in 5 for Matty Ice. Midnight Rider, Carolina in 6. Winnipeg and I believe that's Colorado.
Yep.
Midnight Rider had Colorado in 7. Matty Ice had Winnipeg in 7.
That's the one.
We can just stop right there because I think I got 4.
Vancouver and Nashville both had Vancouver. Matty Ice had them in 6. Midnight Rider had them in 5. Dallas and LA both had Dallas in 5.
Which ended up not happening, remember, because that last game of the season they screwed it up, and so I put the picks out there on the on the site for those two, what ended up being Dallas and Vegas and Edmonton and
Right.
LA.
Because you actually had Vegas. Because if it was going to be Vegas and Edmonton, Vegas in 7, and the Midnight Rider had Edmonton in 7. So
Yeah, I'm Edmonton all the way. I think I got Edmonton on my pick that I did on ESPN, the playoff challenge. All right, guys, let's go through the second round real quick.
Yep.
If people want to make picks, we can make a pick on it as we go along.
All right, hold on. Let me flip the page here.
Yeah.
You got a pen?
Come on,
we gotta take a time off for you to get a pen.
No, of course, it's always pens around. I got a box full of pens. When I see you, I got to give you a pen. I got to make sure I give you a pen and a business card.
Oh, okay. Is this from Helen Hunt Motors?
Yes.
Dealership.
Yes.
Once a salesman, always a salesman.
Always got to make sure you got merchandise, man. Where you get that from? Helen Hunt Motors. You need a good car to get you from point A to point B. Go to Helen Hunt for it.
All right, Maddie, let's start up close to home for you. Let's go Canes Islanders.
Canes Rangers.
Canes Rangers. I'm sorry.
Yep. So, I mean, this is the battle of the best two teams from the Metro. The Rangers were the President's Trophy winner, which is the best record in the NHL regular season. The Canes were just a couple points behind them. Rangers went 2-1 in the regular season between these two teams, and these two teams are very evenly matched, especially 5-on-5. They both got really good goaltending. What this series I thought was going to come down to is going to be their special teams. Both teams, the Canes going into at the regular season were number 1 in the PK, number 3 in the power play. The Rangers were number 2 in the PK, or number 3 on the power play, and number 2 on the PK. So they're both top 5 in the specialty teams. Game 1 was actually a couple nights ago, and that held true. The Canes went 0-for-4 on the power play. The Rangers went 2-for-2, and the Rangers won by a goal. So special teams is going to be the key to this series. The Canes had to get a little bit better goaltending than what Freddie gave them in game 1-2. Zibanejad just had a huge game in game 1. He had their first 2 goals, and Gensel was kind of quiet in game 1.
He's very hot right now. Micah is.
He is. I mean, he's been playing great, and I mean that team doesn't need a lot either. But and then tonight, the game did not start off well for the Canes. They started off giving up a kind of a soft goal. Then Svechnikov takes a stupid penalty run in the goal, Igor behind the net. Fortunately, the Rangers did not score on that power play, and now the Canes ended up getting a couple goals at the end of the first period, getting one at the end of the first period with 5 seconds left. So we'll see what that does for the second period. But this series is going to be tight. The teams are just so evenly balanced and evenly matched. I don't see either team being able to really get away from the other team, and which is going to be fun. It's going to be a great series. My brain says the Rangers in 7 because they're going to end up with home ice. My heart, of course, wants my Canes to win it in 6 because I think if they're going to win it, they've got to win it on home ice. They normally don't play as well on the road as they do at home in the playoffs under Rod. So, but Zibanejad and Gensel are going to be the keys because Aho and Panarin are probably going to balance each other out. So which one of those two has the better series? Gensel has the goal tonight. Zibanejad had the 2 in game 1. So we'll go with the brain and the Rangers in 7.
Jack, you got anything on this one?
Yeah, I got Rangers in 6. I like that. They got a solid goalie over there in New York too, correct?
Yeah, Igor's a threat is a threat to win the Vezina. Again, well, he won't win the Vezina this year, but he has in years past, and he's definitely, if the goalie matchup, the Rangers have the advantage for sure with Igor.
Yeah, I like Rangers in 6.
I like the Rangers in 7. KG, finish it out.
I guess I'll go with the consensus and say Rangers in 6.
Okay. All right, let's
Bruins.
Let's stay on that side of the bracket. Let's go with the Bruins game.
Yeah, this is going to be again another rematch from last year. Last year, Florida took out Boston after Boston was up 3-1. I think they had their first game last night, and Boston won 5-1. Florida got the first goal of the game. They dominated the first 5 minutes, and I think Boston kind of came back. And this is that classic game. Team comes off of Game 7. They're playing 2 nights later. You might think that they're tired, but they're actually, I think, a little bit more fresh because they're in that routine where Florida had 5 or 6 days off. And once Florida got the first goal, the shots were like 21-7. And I think Florida just took the foot off the gas, thinking that was going to be it. And Bob for Florida did not have a good game, and Jeremy Swayman stole that game. He made an incredible save the first minute of the game that probably set the tone for him. And from that save on, it was all Swayman just outperformed Bob. I still think in the long run, Florida's got enough talent to win that series. I think they will. I think that's going to be a wake-up call for them. They need to get Sam Bennett back. He was hurt and did not play game 1. He's day-to-day. He's supposed to play game 2. If they get him back in game 2, and the key for them is that they have to stay out of the penalty box. They did that in game 1. It didn't really come back, to bite them. But Boston and Marchand will try to be the weasel stuff that he is, and he will try to get under the skin of Matthew Tkachuk. And if he is successful in that, and Tkachuk starts going to the box, and some of these other players start going to the box, then that advantage goes to Boston. But I still think Florida's going to have too much for them. Bob won't have a game like that again, and I like the Cats still in 6. But the way Swayman performed last night makes me very nervous.
Come on, Jack.
Florida's got to get better on the power play. I felt they did terrible last night on it, and turnovers too. They turned it over quite a bit. So, and like I said, you said at the beginning, I think that week off hurt them. In all playoffs, the long layoffs. I'm surprised it didn't happen to Boston tonight in basketball. They've been off a while, but they're up 20 just for an update.
Yeah, and I felt the same way. I watched that. I think it was the second period. Jack, you can correct me, or Matt.
Yeah, I watched that.
No. I was going to say Florida lost it. I think right around in the second period is when those goals got scored.
Yeah.
And you could just tell it was like a blitzkrieg on the net. So
yeah, they broke the lane.
I think Florida takes it, but I think we get all 7.
It went from 1-0 to 3-1 Boston real quick, and none of those goals I would say are ones that you would expect Bobrovsky to give up.
Right.
So that's Bobrovsky's going to have to be like what he was last year in the playoffs, because Swayman right now is feeling it. Big save there by Freddie. He's feeling it right now, and if Swayman's feeling it, that makes Boston so much more dangerous.
Well, Boston likes to throw the puck at the net, man. They like to shoot. So I pick Boston in 5.
Oh
wow!
All right, let's go. Let's go.
Uh-oh. Watch out for Paul. Watch out for Paul Duval on this one.
Every once in a while, you gotta do one of these,
That's a Florida 7.
Boston in 5.
What did you have, Maddie?
I had Florida in 6.
Florida in 6. And for the previous series, Duval Paul said Rangers in 6. He also says Ekblad played the worst game of the playoffs, still really missing Sam Bennett, too many turnovers.
Yep. Agree with all that.
If you love hockey, this is the place to come, man. All right, let's go on, take it to the West. Let's get those last 2 out. Let's go with the game tonight, Colorado, Dallas.
So this poor Dallas, right? You finish with the best record in the regular season, and congratulations, you draw the defending Stanley Cup champions, the Vegas Golden Knights. You win that series in 7 games. Congratulations, you now get the team that won it 2 years ago in the Colorado Avalanche. So talk about first place not really coming up to do much for you. This series is going to be another get your popcorn ready. It's a battle of 2 styles. Dallas plays a very good defensive style. The difference, though, between them and Winnipeg is they do have guys that can put the puck in the net. They've got Robertson, Wyatt Johnson emerged in this last series to be to kind of be this kid that's coming up and scoring goals for them. So they've got a much better team D than what Winnipeg had. Where I think that Colorado's goaltending is very shaky. It was shaky against Winnipeg. They outscored them. But Gergiev is not the same category as Ottinger in goal for Dallas. I think that's where this series is gonna come down to. I still think it's going to be a 7-game series. I think it's one of those ones anyone can go, but I'm going with Dallas in 7 because they're my cup pick.
Okay.
All right, Jack, what you got?
I agree with you. Dallas does got as I would say, a stingy defense. And you mentioned Wyatt Johnson as well. I've had my eye on him. But the Avalanche, they got a really balanced scoring attack. They've got 4 or 5 guys with 6 or more points already.
Yep. And McCarr on D, that isn't afraid to shoot either.
Yes. McKinnon. I like McKinnon over there in Colorado. I think Colorado in 6.
And I'm not even going to disagree with it because I always like offense, so I'm going Colorado in 6 as well.
Yeah.
KG.
I don't like anything about Dallas. I mean, I don't like Dallas, the city. I don't like Dallas, the team.
It's not the Cowboys.
I've said it several times on this show. I would go to the biggest toilet bowl in the country that is in Texas, and I would sit right under that big TV screen and cop a squat. So I'm going Colorado in this one in 6.
Ooh, Lord.
Did you like the TV show Dallas?
No, funny story.
I didn't like it.
The episode Who Shot JR was on the night that I was born. And my mother was more worried about who shot JR than getting to the hospital so I could be born.
I bet she was. That show was followed. That show was heavily followed. That was one of the biggest watched shows, back then on the ratings, Who
She was
shot
behind the MASH series finale, if I remember right. Not counting
yeah,
sporting
and then
events.
you had Friends and you had all that. It was, Who shot
All right,
JR?
Matt, give me the last
You
series.
born?
Hold on.
Edmonton.
Uh-oh.
Duval Paul says, I have a common phrase in my personal lexicon of sports fandom, and it covers every sport. Fuck Dallas. That's why we get along.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Amen, Paul.
Colorado in 6.
Oh man.
I'm with you.
All right, Matt, give us the last one.
So that
Yeah,
leaves a
really
good
a
old
hot Edmonton
Smythe
Oilers.
division, matchup between Edmonton and
Oilers.
Vancouver. This is going to come down to goaltending. Vancouver needs Thatcher Demko back in a big way. They cannot do how they beat Nashville against Edmonton. That's just not going to work when Edmonton can throw out McDavid and Draisaitl every third shift because they don't really play their fourth line a lot. So they need Thatcher Demko to come back. Stuart Skinner in Edmonton, after a shaky first couple of games, came back against LA, had a few really good games, but kind of same thing. What he faced with LA, he's going to face a lot more power in Vancouver. I think the key to this series is going to be Elias Lindholm. He's likely going to get that draw on defense against McDavid and Draisaitl. And with Edmonton, how that line goes, the rest of the team goes. So if he can somehow keep them off the board, I think they've got a shot if they get Demko back right now. I think they're talking he's day to day. It doesn't sound like he's going to play tomorrow. They should have Casey DeSmith back, which I think is at least a little bit of an improvement. But I don't think they have enough firepower. I think this is going to be the one series that isn't going to be very, very thrilling to watch. I think Edmonton's just going to walk all over them. I got Edmonton in 5.
Wow. Jack, what you got, Jack?
You can go ahead this time second.
Oh, I was going to say I'm keeping mine short and simple.
Mhm.
I'm taking Edmonton because Edmonton is my pick to win the cup. So Edmonton in 6.
Yeah, and like that. How do you say that gentleman's name? Draisaitl.
Leon Draisaitl.
He's Mr. Playoff hockey. I tell you, he shines in the playoffs. And this is the first meeting of these two teams in the playoffs since '92.
Yep.
Back when they were battling back then, that was something else. And what's the boy over here on Houston? Boucher? Evan?
Yeah, I think he's pronounced Boucher.
He's a heck of a. He's got a powerful slap shot. He shoots missiles. I think they call it the bomb or something like that when he shoots. So Edmonton, I like them offensively. The goalies are hurt over at Vancouver, if I'm not mistaken. Aren't they having issues with the goalie getting healthy? I think someone's returning tonight as well.
Yeah, they're supposed to get maybe DeSmith back. That's their backup, but
right.
Demko's their guy. They need him to even have a chance in the series.
And they're working with the 2 and 3 guy right now, right?
Yep.
That's what I heard. So I go with Edmonton in 5 on this one. I think they might take a day off and let Vancouver get one. So Edmonton in 5.
All right. What you got, big guy?
I'm going to go ahead and go Edmonton in 6. Duval Paul checking in. He says Edmonton in 6. So it's across the board, Edmonton.
Whoa.
Which means
All
Vancouver.
right, so earlier we talked about it. We talked about the Caps. What's next? What's kind of their agenda? What's going forward for them? Matt, I know you had something prepared for us. Can you give us that real quick?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny. When you remember when we were in the beginning of the season, we kind of talked about we don't know what the Caps are. Are they going to try to be a strong playoff team? Are they just going to try to get in? Are they going to try to keep it together until Ovi breaks the record. And here we are at the end of this year, and I think they're kind of in the same spot still. I mean, I think Carberry's going to be a good coach. He definitely made some improvements with that team. I think they were better than honestly what I thought they would be. The problem is though, if you're going to try to build on what you have, you don't have a lot of cap space to do it. They've got a couple contracts that are going to be really hard to move. They could maybe try to, what they do have is they have some draft capital. So you could maybe take some of that draft capital and maybe go after some of these restricted free agents. Like as an example, the Canes got 2 guys, Seth Jarvis and Martin Necas, that are restricted free agents. So you're going to give up a pick or 2 to get them, but the Caps have the draft capital to be able to swing that. So maybe that's the route they go. They could just do another status quo. Hey, we're not going to make a lot of moves. Let's keep letting these young guys develop with Ovi, knowing that, there is a chance he could break the record next year, or it could take 2 years. And I think that's the problem is that what they probably honestly need to do is they need to blow it up. They probably hit that time like what Chicago realized it, and they let Kane go, and that it's time to blow it up. Why they can't blow it up is because you can't let Ovi break that record in another uniform. You can't. There's no way you can do that, right? So you're stuck. I think you've got to either try to let and Hershey's got some kids. They had Ethan Frank, who scored 30 goals in 57 games. Mike Fashoni, I think is how I pronounce it. He scored 23. Saragossa, they called him up towards the end of the year, and he played okay for them. I think they've got you got Hunter Shepard in goal, and I think he's maybe got some potential. You got guys like McMichael and Milano. Can they take the next step next year? I don't know. I think it's a tough spot to be in, because I think what they really need is they've got some young guys. I don't know that those young guys are the next core. I think they need their next Ovi, for lack of a better word. Not that anyone's going to be Ovi, obviously, but they need that next young, good player to build around. I think these guys are all good pieces. I don't know that they are the piece.
Well, Jack, what's your thoughts, Jack? You got any thoughts, Jack?
No, you say everything I want to say. Good job. Do my stuff earlier. Good job. Good coverage, bro. We got to have you all the time on the NHL day.
So only thing I would ask or say differently is you do have 2 options, because I don't know what Oshie's going to do. Oshie basically
the back.
The back
he should retire. He should retire.
I think he should too.
My gut tells me he's going to try to play another year.
I think his heart's going to try to get him to do it as much as he can, but I think the back is going to win at the end of the day. So I think with him and with Backstrom being able to, I think you used the term earlier, LITR, that can free up some cap space where maybe you can pick up something. Because really the one thing I want them to do is I think they need to get a center so we can push down McMichael and everybody down the line. And if you can do that, I think that gives the team a little bit more depth in the long run.
So what's Ovi owed? What kind of contract is he still sitting on? I'm not familiar.
I think he's got 2 more years.
He's got 2 years left.
Yeah. How much?
I don't know the amount, but I know it's 2 years left.
The only way they can do something, I mean, they got to hold on to Ovi, as you say. But the only way they can do anything is if Ovi wants to restructure some stuff so they can get some young stars in here.
Yeah.
If you want to keep paying Ovi that big superstar money just to keep him here to break a record, then the Caps aren't going to grow.
And I love Tom Wilson. He's a great player. I mean, and he's the Washington Capital type of player that you need. His contract is not good either. I mean, they signed him, they locked him up for like a 5-6 year deal. And I think if he was on like a 1 or 2 year deal, I mean, you could maybe move a guy like Wilson to get some of those young type of players, because people would want a guy like Wilson. But with that contract, he's not movable. They're not, Yep.
They're not, even if they wanted to, they're not moving Wilson, because
probably not.
In Caps fans' mind, Wilson's the next guy to garner the C and carry it on to the next generation or the next level. So there's no way. It looks like the Rangers just scored. There's no way they're letting Wilson go. I think their play is to either build through the draft, make those moves that you were talking about, Matt, because I think they have something like 21 picks in the next 3 years, something crazy. It's some ridiculous number, and it's not 21, but it's a ridiculous number. KG, your thoughts?
Ovi's contract. His cap hit is $9.5 million the next 2 seasons. He's due $6 million next season in bonus, $4 million after that, and then a base salary of $5 million the next 2 seasons.
Which isn't awful. I mean, it's not $5 million. I mean, some of these top line free agents are probably going to get $7-8 million a year.
It's not outrageous. I didn't know it was that low.
Yeah, so, it's a very cap friendly salary because $12.5 million was the salary this year. It goes down to 11 next year, and the following year goes down to $9 million in total salary.
So
you got it locked up for 3, right?
The next two.
Next two.
How many does he need for this record?
He needs 41, I think it was, if I remember right.
Yeah.
And
and he'll get that as a cap. We won't have to give him no more money to get it.
No, I think he should. I think he has a good chance to get it next year.
Mm-hmm.
He could. I mean,
he'll get it it'll be at the end of the season, and that'll be kind of the interest. So if they're not playing well, the interest would be, can Ovi get the record this year? Because I think he's going to flirt with 40 goals.
Yeah, he'll be close. I mean, he had 30 in it with 35 this year, and
right.
He started off slow. It all comes down though. Again, they've got to get that Backstrom type player with them, because the Rangers showed the way how to shut Ovi down in the playoffs, and this league is a copycat league. Now, teams may not care as much in the regular season as what you're going to try to do in a 7-game series. So he's still going to get his goals, but and look, he's going to be another year older, and the father time wins all battles. So, one injury and it's a different conversation that we could be having,
True.
Totally agree. All right, guys. If anybody has anything else in the Caps, let me know. We good? All right. So let's go ahead and hop on over to baseball, fellas.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, you want to sing the rest of that?
I'm just getting warmed up.
So, I wanted to kind of just talk in because, baseball is a long season. And right now we're at pretty much the end of the first month. So I wanted to take a look back. I know we talked about it. I know Jack wasn't with us, but I know when we did our baseball show, Matt had the Nats at 72 wins. I had him at 73. KG had him at 80. Jack, did you have a game win prediction for the Nationals at the beginning of the year?
No, I didn't. I didn't make one with you guys or with Lee Ice. But y'all's numbers sound a little high to me. I'm in the 70s, maybe 75, 72 wins.
Yeah,
I don't see them winning 80 something.
So the highest was KG with 80. But
the highest was 80. Oh, okay. I thought somebody said 89.
No.
No, we're gonna be lucky to break 70 wins.
Yeah.
I think they're playing out of their range right now. They got a little hot, but 20 games, it's a long season.
But is it really hot when you think about it? Their best pitcher right now is Trevor Williams. Then it's Mitchell Parker. I think that's the kid they brought up. And then what's the other guy? The kid from last year, Jake Irvin. That's been their 3 best pitchers. Mackenzie Gore struggled the last 2 times out, and Josiah Gray is hurt. So, I mean, you're right. They're stealing, but they're still getting production. And the fact that their offense really hasn't done much anything.
Abraham's about it.
Yeah, that's it. Abrams is there.
That's it.
Yep.
I mean, Garcia is showing flashes. And I think he's going to be the key. The key's going to be Garcia and what he can give you.
And if their pitching can get back.
Exactly.
If they're pitching right now is who that? I don't know who they are.
You don't know the pitchers are, man? I got you, Jack.
Who was that, Kevin? You said Kevin, somebody they pulled up? I'll be at the park tomorrow night, okay? Taking my mama to the game tomorrow night.
Okay. Where you sitting at?
I don't know. My sister bought the tickets, dude. I just show up. I was somewhere when you just roll in, because we're going to have my mama in a wheelchair. She doesn't get around too well.
Okay.
But she loves the Orioles, and, I figure why not? My sister likes the Nationals, and we're making a Mother's Day trip out of it, and then we'll celebrate again on the weekend. I love going to ball games. I was at Camden Yards Sunday for that Oakland game.
I'm trying to get the Midnight Rider to go, but he won't never go. I'm like, come on, let's go to Camden Yards and catch a game. For what? I don't want to go there.
Dude, I go to Camden Yards. I go to Bay Sox. Just go to a ball game.
Now, if Harrisonburg comes to Bowie, I can do that.
Why? Who's there?
Because Harrisonburg is the Nats AA squad.
Right. So that's where Harper was at about, 8 years ago.
Right.
Man, I met him 3 times on the rail. First time I had a baseball bat. I wanted him to sign it, put it next to my Pete Rose bat. His dude says, Bryce isn't signing bats. I'm like, cool, I got a ball, And Bryce just walked by me. So I got there the next day for the game 2. I'm right on the rail, good as gold. Bryce looks up, skips me. He writing stupid stuff on everybody's balls, And I'm like, Bryce, I heard that you worried about people selling your autograph. Sign more, and they won't sell it, bro. I mean, look at one of the most popular baseball players in baseball, Cal Ripken. You'd think his autograph be worth thousands of dollars. Man, you can get that autograph all day for $60 because he signs all the time. So Bryce Harper, he stood me up 3 times. I mean, I wanted to hit him in the back of the head with a ball. But I did get a sweet picture of him knocking one out in right field at Bay Sox Stadium in the Harrisburg uniform. It's a pretty cool picture I got. But I'm not a Harper fan. I can't stand him.
Well, I don't like his act now that he's all in for Philadelphia.
Well, he cries too much. He cries like LeBron does. He gets tagged out or slamming to play. Bryce is crying. His hair's flying everywhere. His bandana on. Just play baseball. He's the Shaq of baseball. I'm sorry, LeBron.
Perry says, he said 89. 89. Is that a Nationals Commanders win combo? I don't think we got last year. I had the Nationals winning. I think I had them above 500 last year.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, and the year before that, I think I had them almost close. I had them close to where they finished that year before that, because they finished above 500. Nobody believed me, but this national team is 17-17 right now, playing 500 ball. They're 7-3 in their last 10. If they can sneak in some wins, I think they're going to win 80. But I think I'm taking 80 as the floor. If we got to go to the ceiling, I'm gonna say 91 as the ceiling. With the way they're playing right now, I'm gonna say 91. But the floor is 80.
I think the issue you want to have, KG, is you're going to have so much turnover and so many guys trying to get their feet wet that you're going to have a lull at some point when the moment you bring up a guy like James Wood, because you're not scoring any runs. So it's no need in keeping Wood back at AAA right now. I think in the next couple of weeks, you'll see him up with the big league squad. And I think the decision they're going to have to make is Rosario, or if Gallo's out for a long term, or you just got to start moving on from Meneses, and because he can't give you anything right now, because that's where they're struggling at. He's their biggest struggle.
Now, Perry says the ceiling sounds like the basement. Perry, their ceiling is our basement, because as Yankee fans, we're used to winning 100 games a year. So that's why it sounds like that, because we're used to winning. They don't know what it is to win. We got 27 world championships. They got one. They still 26 behind. So they don't understand how to win 100 games a season. So that's why it sounds like that.
Who has the most recent one?
Who has the most?
Well,
how many did you see?
How you gotta be bringing up old stuff? I don't
care.
care.
27 you see.
I think it's the expectations too, with how that roster is right now and the division they're in. I mean,
exactly.
you're in a division with maybe arguably 2 of the best teams, with Atlanta and Philadelphia.
2 of the worst.
And 2 of the worst. So I could see them. If they somehow finish 3rd in that division, to me, that's a good year for them this year with the roster that they have.
Yeah, they probably have to battle the Mets. Miami's definitely going to be sweeping the floor.
Yep.
Well, but I just can't see Washington competing with Philly and Atlanta for the division title. Don't see it.
You need them to compete for a wild card. That's what you want right now.
Yeah.
You want wild card to be your thing.
Wild card, you're going to need high 80 games.
So hold on. So here's your path. Your path is you got the Mets and the Marlins in your division. So you got to feast on that.
Right, correct. You need to win those series every time. But if you don't, You're just shooting
Then
yourself in the foot.
you feast on the Central, because even though the Cubs and I forgot who's in first,
The
but
Brewers.
it's the Brewers, even though they're playing well, I think the Brewers are playing over their skis, and I think the Cubs are playing over their skis. So the good thing is you got June and July coming, and that's when men are made. That's when you figure it out. But other than talking about the Nats, I wanted to get, like, if we got a big picture, anybody got any thoughts, any surprises to them so far in the baseball season?
I think my
Go
guards
ahead,
are
sir.
present a little surprised, right?
Say that again.
My guards are present a little surprised. for the
Yes,
year
I
so
got that over here.
Yes.
The Royals are definitely a surprise. Everybody's going to say. I mean, the Royals sucked last year, but they got picking up Watcha. I think that was a great pickup, and Witt Jr. He's starting to be an MVP caliber player. I love watching Witt play.
Well, baseball has got a nice mix of young guys that are starting to make their presence known, and let's go ahead and kind of jump into some of that. Some of the young players, first and foremost. Oh, I'm sorry, KG. I'm sorry. You laid back. You was
Hey,
laid
you
back.
want to play?
Because I was listening. I'm like, yo, I'm just waiting for my turn here. And then you just like, hey, let's jump in. No, we're not jumping anywhere.
Go ahead, Shaq.
It's hopscotch.
No, I gotta say it's the Orioles. And
Excuse me. Say what?
I got that's a surprise.
Surprise?
Yes,
Because you're a Yankee fan. That's the only
of
reason you're
course, of
surprised.
course. But I didn't. I had a
This
feeling.
was predicted.
Yes, but it's a lot of things that get predicted that
Why are
never
you
come true.
surprised? You're
And I said
surprised
it's
that your
surprised.
Yankees ain't win. That we
Well,
won
the
your
Yankees
Yankees
are
last
a
week
game
to
back.
take first.
That's fine. But this
You
is
can't
why
be surprised on a division winning team doing well the first month of the season. Come on, big man.
But it's okay. But
How can you be surprised?
because I'm loving it. Now, my godmother.
Okay, I love it too.
My godmother was an Orioles fan, so
Yeah.
she always said the one thing she made, the only mistake she made in raising me is I became a Yankee fan. That's the only mistake she ever made.
And a Laker fan.
Oh no, I'm not a Laker fan. I'm a Bulls fan. That's
Oh,
Midnight Rider. That's the Laker fan.
That's right.
I'm a Bulls
That's
fan.
right. You one of y'all was Laker fans.
But to see the Orioles win, and I would love to see it go down, possibly to the wire. Orioles Yankees battling it out in late August, September for this division, and it stays like this, I would love it. And I wouldn't even be mad if the Orioles kind of sort of sniffed, the division pennant, because they're not going to get it. But if they just kind of put a whiff of it to see what it smells like, just a little bit, just so you can see what it smells like.
Bird's going to win 110 games this year.
Let me go ahead and write that down.
Not 104.
O's 110.
And if they go into the playoffs healthy, they're coming home with that pretty little trophy.
Mm-hmm.
Letting you know, if they enter the playoffs healthy, this team is unreal, man.
You got
youngins, man. We're gonna have rookie of the year for the next 6 years.
Exactly. And then the problem is where they play. Like they finally did the right thing in making the deal for Burns. Because you had to get rid of some bodies to get a league starter. Because now with Burns at 1, you got Rodriguez at 2, and then once John Means comes back, I think Means got called up yesterday.
I was listening to what's that boy with the Southern twang that calls the Birds games now? Ben McDonald. I was listening to him today, and they were talking about that possibility when Means and Rodriguez come back going to a 6-man rotation. I haven't heard of that. No.
Yeah, the Nats ended last season with that.
Yeah, it's not common, but we got some arms. And I want to keep them fresh.
But the other good thing about a 6-man rotation is when you got young guys and you got innings restrictions, it makes it easier with the innings restrictions because you're not playing normal that 5th day. You're playing that 6th day,
right?
And it gives you an extra round in the rotation.
And it could help with the healing of the injuries too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Couple comments real quick. Jack Wagner says, "Let's go O's." Perry chiming in as a Yank fan. The O's winning is no surprise. The only team in the East I give respect. Also, better than that disgusting ass team in the New England area. I agree with you right there.
Yep.
Jack Wagner also says, so young, O's are dangerous this year. I agree with that. I do. And I think they're going to be dangerous for quite some time. So, when you want to protect your keep and you want to protect your horde, I feel like a dragon. I feel like Smaug, and the O's are the wolves that are coming back to Airborne to take what belongs to me. No, this is mine. This is mine. The East is mine. That's what I feel like.
Yeah.
Dog, you wasting breath on that one. Because I already told you. I've said every show we've done on baseball. I hate to admit it, but the O's are going to be the team to beat in the AL East for the next 7 to 10 years. Easily.
That's because you're a Yankee hater.
I'll put it
No,
there
it's not. It's
45.
because I'm looking at baseball. They have so much farm talent that they can stock the gills for as long as they need. Like they can trade 2 kids right now, and the next 2 kids come up. You're not losing anything.
Mm-mm.
I think that's going to be the key with the new ownership, though, right? Is with some of these guys when it comes contract time, what do they do? Do they sign these guys, or do they try to do the Cleveland model where they trade them off, get more, and then just keep rebuilding, and having that young team like how Cleveland has tried to do it, which I don't think it always works and hasn't worked. But is the new owner going to be willing to spend the money to keep some of these guys when it comes to
I'd like to see that. I'd really like to see that. And I think, like I say, a couple pretty little trophies will make you spend that money.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have one of the other best GM in baseball. And what he's going to do is he's going to find those guys, Gunnar Henderson, your Jackson Holiday, and a couple other guys, and you're going to extend them out early, kind of like the Atlanta Braves model. So you get them, you buy out their arbitration years, and you pay them a little bit more than they would get normally going through arbitration. And that way you have them on contract for 7 to 8 years instead of just 6 that you would normally.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the same thing the Nats need to do with Abrams.
Got to be smart.
You got to push Abrams. Abrams got to get a deal in the next year or 2. And you push him out because I think he's your superstar. And that's how we go from there.
Yeah.
Jack Wagner says vicious. We hungry. And I was hungry. We gonna see.
You go with that as a surprise.
Hey,
The disappointment I draw from the Orioles it's got to be the Jackson Holiday stint. I mean, what he played 10 games.
yeah, he struggled. I mean,
He struggled real bad.
You expect that though. You kind of sort of
But I was there when when Rutschman came up. I was there when Gunnar came up. I was in the stadium, and then he just did not look like he had that same confidence. I mean, he's from a bloodline. Don't get me wrong. They say his younger brother's an even better baseball player than him.
Yes, he is.
So I think Jackson is going to make it in the league. He just needs more ABs downtown.
Yeah,
that's all. That's all. It happened to a lot of the big league players, a lot of Hall of Famers. This happened to them.
That's what I was going to say. Because it was one great Hall of Famer that came up.
Yeah.
And he couldn't get it right away. Then he went on to become Joe DiMaggio.
Is that right? JoJo's one of them, huh? But yeah, he put up ugly numbers. 10 games, 234, 18 Ks. I mean, he was swinging at curveball. I mean, the lefties were eating him up.
Mm-hmm.
So you go with that for a disappointment just because we were talking about the Orioles is the reason I wanted to bring that one up.
No problem. But isn't he like 19? Or is he 20? He's right there because he's not. I mean, he can't go in the pickles and buy a beer.
He just can't let this bother him mentally. He's got to keep his game face, his game plan going, and I'm sure he will because darn right, he's been under the right tutelage since he was a young teenager coming up to be what he is now. Right. So I'm sure he's been taught the right way. He grew up in the major leagues. He's out running on major league ball fields 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years old. So he knows what it takes. And I'm not worried about Holiday at all. Not at all.
Hey, you shouldn't be worried about. No, you shouldn't be worried about him because, like you said, there's plenty of Hall of Famers that came up the first time and had to go back down to get prepared to come back up, and then next thing you know, they come back up. It happened with Mickey Mantle. I mean, it happened with a lot of players. I'm naming Yankees because I'm being funny, but seriously, it happened with a lot of great players. They go back down, you get the tutoring, you get the tutelage, and then you come back up and, it's ready to run and it's on. So I don't worry about that at all. Just keep him in the system now.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if there's a possibility that he comes up later in the season, in the fall, or a playoff roster, or, when things start getting thick.
He's going to be back by July, personally.
Think it. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's where you look at. You look at July, you let him get another month. Plus, the weather hasn't been great. So there's a lot of guys that people talk about once the weather gets going. A lot of vets, they talk about Rosario that way. Once it gets hot, that's when they start hitting. Before we get off of this and go to the state of basketball, anybody got anything else on baseball you want to cover?
Yeah.
Can we get rid of the commissioner?
Say that one more time, Matt.
Can we get rid of the commissioner?
We've been working on it. We have been working on it. We got emails out, okay? I wanted to discuss it as disappointment early on in the season of the Houston Astros, man. I enjoyed watching. Even knowing back when they was cheating and all that, that's a good ball team to watch. Bregman struggling, pitchers are hurt. The Astros, I thought they would be playing much better, but that was a disappointment.
How big is the loss of Dusty Baker?
Good thought.
Because Dusty maybe was that, which I was so glad that he got a ring with them.
A ring, yes.
I still think Washington did him wrong, in that year. I think that should have been Dusty's ring in Washington. So I was happy he won one in Houston, even if they do cheat. But Dusty's gone now.
I love Dusty,
and they're struggling, like you said.
Well, and I think another struggle is Abreu. It's unreal, the numbers he's putting up. 0.099 in 22 games. No home runs, 3 RBIs in 22 games.
I think that's Father Time.
Me too.
Father Time came because he spent so much time in Cuba playing there that I think he doesn't have the wheels. A team I'm not disappointed, but a team that's just completely falling off the rails is the Chicago White Sox.
Mm-hmm.
Years ago, we were talking about them as a playoff team.
Yeah. Sorry.
You good? I saw it, Matt. You good? I was expecting it.
Yeah, they're 15 games back already.
Yeah, and they don't have
6 games.
They don't have a clue what to do next. They messed up by firing their manager, getting La Russa. La Russa screwed the team over, messed the team up, and then they ain't been sit right since.
They don't have a deep farm system. They're what they have for good guys are hurt.
Yep.
I went to when I went up to Philly, that's who was there. And, and I see him all the time, of course, here in Cleveland too. And it's just, you look at that roster who's playing in Philly and I was like, what the hell is this? It was just bad. They're not deep to begin with, but I don't know. They're trying to move out of Chicago or what, but there's nobody going to White Sox games. And I don't know. I don't know what that team is doing.
Yeah.
You know what, AKG? That comment right there, the Jack Wagner comment.
Yeah, he says, "Watch out for those Rangers again this year."
Yeah, I agree.
Do me a favor when y'all watch the Rangers, watch when their lineup comes up. You know how KG I always talk about having a type. This team has types. Their lineup, everybody look the same. It's like they all came out of the same mold, body wise. They're all long, lanky athletes. They're strong. The only one that's really compact is Garcia. But just pay attention to that team. That team's gonna be difficult, especially if they can get Wyatt Langford, the kid they drafted last year. If they can get him bopping, they're gonna be in it.
Yeah,
they're gonna be in it no matter what. Say that again, Matt.
And remember, everyone at the beginning of the year was talking about how bad the AL Central was going to be, and now look, they've got 3 teams in theory that would make the playoffs. And today, the AL West looks terrible. You got the Angels that are in the struggle bus. Oakland is surprised at 17-20 that they're 17-20.
Hey, exactly,
but still not good.
Oakland's got a boy that I want to call a surprise. At Mason Miller, that closer they got, that boy, he owns the 9th inning, man. I've been watching him throw 6-7 games, man. He is nice. And then, I want to throw another surprise out there just because I respect this man's game. And he made a change of position this year, and he's still balling to the max. Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts is back at short this year and ain't skipping a beat. That boy's just an athlete. You can put him in right field, man. I don't care. I like Mookie Betts. and he is still one of the top players in this league.
I mean, how do you wake up in the morning? How do you go to sleep knowing you got to face that first four?
Oh,
With
dude.
Mookie, Shohei,
Freddie.
Freeman. Oh, my gosh. And then Will Smith. I
And
think the
then
only problem
they got
the
their
Dodgers
bomber
have-
coming up after that.
I think the problem the Dodgers have is their lineup is just top heavy. After the first 5 or 6, it kind of falls off a little bit. But
Yeah.
I mean, give my boy Gavin Lux some time. Hopefully he can get healthy and get back on track. But their top 6 is better than anybody in baseball, probably.
I'll take Atlanta.
Okay.
Mhm.
I can't argue with you on that.
Because I was watching them one game. It's like you look at the lineup. It's like every guy's batting like 3 something,
All right.
8 to 12 homers already. It's like, good God, like where do you take a breath as a pitcher against that lineup?
I think last year, I think they had their whole lineup had like 20 home runs.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like because they came into Cleveland later in the year and we're looking at the lineup. It's like everyone's batting 300 with 20 plus home runs. It's like, holy Christ, how did this team not win it?
Yeah, that's how San Diego was last year when they had Soto with Tatis and Bogarts, and their top 4 or 5 was pretty nasty too. But
The only problem is they had no chemistry.
no,
Yep.
no.
None.
But I do
But
like
they-
them getting Arias from Miami.
Oh, what is Miami doing with that trade? I mean, like, just you trade. I mean, I get that they're not going anywhere, and
Just digging
but,
a
I mean,
deeper hole.
They got Penny. They didn't get any like really top prospects for arguably maybe the best
Hitter.
hitter in baseball.
I don't know. That guy plays for the Braves.
Yeah.
That's hitter in baseball plays for the Braves.
Unfortunately, I think the best hitter in baseball plays for the Yankees.
And his name.
Soto?
Here we go. Why
Is
did you
who?
have to give it to him?
Hey,
Why did you
because
have
he-
to
I mean, come
give
on,
up
Matt.
that
Matt,
for him?
I told you this before.
Acuna
Soto's my
is the
favorite
best
player.
hitter in
You love
baseball.
Soto. It's okay.
Soto's my guy. Like, if you pull up my old,
Write him a letter. I don't care.
I know you've been on the Soto train for his whole career.
He's
so
not
I
the
can
best
see
hitter
it.
in baseball.
yes, he is, sir.
316,
That's
8 home runs, 28 RBIs.
Say again.
Who you saying, Acuna?
No, that's 316. Soto's hitting 316, 8 home runs, 28 RBIs with 43 hits just this season alone.
Nice start. Long
He got to
season.
stay there, though. He got to keep it high.
Correct. Long season. Acuna's
If only
freedom.
baseball would have the games be available where people could see all these young players. Wouldn't that be amazing if you could find somewhere to watch all these guys? And the league maybe I don't know, advertise that these kids are in the league and doing well. I don't get what Manfreda's doing. I'm sorry to jump back on him, but
It's
it's
deserved.
it's just awful.
I'm sorry. I'm just sitting there smiling because Matt just did my whole diatribe for me. Because that's exactly what I say every time. It doesn't make sense. You have the best athletes in the world, and you make it more difficult to watch the best players.
This for us in Cleveland because Bally Sports is not because they
Right.
that whole fiasco, right? So we had to get a VPN because Bally's they're on TV, but they don't have a streaming deal. So even if you paid the $30 a month for Bally's, you still don't get to watch the Guardians. So we had to get a VPN to say that we live in New Mexico, so that way we could watch the Guardians through MLB, because with our 20 package we get MLB TV for free, but all the Guardians games are blacked out because why the blackout rules are so stupid anymore. Just get rid of them.
I don't have to worry about that. I got jailbreak. Black that out, man.
Allegedly.
Yeah, that's what they told me it was when they gave it to me for free. Yep.
All right.
Jack Wagner says Rangers got big bats. For sure, Mookie is the man. Braves are nice. Soto deserves it. He's got game.
See, even your best friend agree with me. See?
We don't agree with nothing. He like the Lakers too. But I'm going to get 2 bones from him when we get 18 this year. We hit 18. We're going to get
Right,
18
hit
this
18.
year. See Boston.
You're not
18.
getting 18. You're not getting
And I'm
18.
getting $200 from Mr. Wagner.
You're not getting 18, but okay.
We up 20 right now with 9 minutes to go. Let's let you know. Boston
You
over
playing
Cleveland.
Cleveland. No
I
offense, Matt.
know.
No offense, Matt.
I'd have rather played Indiana.
All right, let's go. Jamal Murray last night.
Ooh.
dumb act. He throws a heating pad onto the court.
Did he?
They kick it off the court. Luckily, the ref officials didn't see it, just because of where it was. He then throws a towel on the court.
I seen the tap.
Ball boy gets it. Ball boy catches it or gets it out of the way real quick. So the officials missed both of them. They do have the video. Of course, he's caught on video.
He was
So this is
frustrated.
official. KG, this is reporting we're doing.
Yes, this is official.
All right, so you got a $100K fine,
Ew.
and that actually is par for the course because I saw somebody else with a similar incident, and that was the amount that they talked about. Because I don't think they want to suspend him for the playoffs because they gotta make that money, baby. Anybody with any thoughts on this situation?
Jack Wagner says ridiculous behavior by Murray. Grow up, man. I agree. And I said I was on the fence when Midnight Rider sent the video to me. And I'm not on the fence anymore because I looked at it several times. He could have hurt somebody and possibly ended somebody's career because if you'd have stepped on that slip, that's it. We talking torn meniscus, torn groin, torn hamstring. Something's going to get torn.
Something,
and I think the $100K fine is a slap on the wrist. I think he should miss game 3.
Yeah. That defense frustrated him. I tell you, Minnesota, the best defense in the league, hands down. And they were missing one of their best defensive players. Congratulations to Rudy on his first baby kid. He missed the game last night for the birth of his first child. And they got a vicious defense in Minnesota. I'm worried about them.
Well, I mean, Minnesota gives them the best option where you can guard Jokic man to man.
Mm-hmm.
That's somebody that can still cover not Ant-Man, but Murray. And then you don't have to give any help off of Porter and Gordon, who really they can't really create their own shots. So they need the kick, the kick or the driving kick to get their shots off. And that's where they have to make an adjustment.
Yes.
To make that work. And maybe that means instead of Jokic bringing it up, you put him on the block and you play inside out.
They tried that last night. Their hands were too quick. Minnesota's hands were too quick for that. I mean, they were actually stealing from Jokic, trying to back players down because he dribbles so high. That defense was just taking the ball from Jokic. I don't know how many turnovers he had, but I saw several. And Murray getting hounded like that. How come nobody else is getting open when Murray has 2 guys on him? I didn't understand that. And then when Porter did get open, he didn't make the shots.
But you just said it, Jack. You talked about their length. And I think that's going to be a key. Are we talking about the next round for the NBA?
We talking about what?
The NBA second round.
We got a few minutes. I mean, we don't have a lot.
All right, then we got to blitzkrieg it. All right, let's run through it real quick. Because I just want to get some thoughts out because I don't want nobody to be like, oh, I thought this, and it's 2 days later and the series is over. Real quick. So tonight, I know we have Dallas and OKC. That series is just getting underway. So anybody has thoughts on that?
Dallas and 6.
Dallas and 6. Jack, you got any thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with that. Dallas and 6.
I got OKC and 6. And
I like OKC. OKC is definitely an up-and-coming squad. You can see them contending for a title for the next 4 to 5 years.
I think this is, and I'm gonna kind of give away. You know what? I'm gonna save content. So let's go with the series we've been talking about, Denver and Minnesota. I know we're 2 games in, so don't give me a number of games. Just give me who you think. I mean, it's kind of hard not to think Minnesota, but if anybody has something different, let me know.
Minnesota
in 5. Jack.
6.
Minnesota in 6. Matt.
Why not? I'll say Denver in 7.
Woo!
All right.
Figure it out.
Here we go.
Let's go.
I want to agree.
Hey, you better log in your FanDuel. Take that.
I don't like it when you agree.
I got Minnesota in 6 as well. All right, let's take it to the East real quick. Let's do the easy one for Jack. Boston and Cleveland. Who you got?
Boston in 5.
I got 5 too, because I think Boston is going to find a way to give a game away for no reason.
You gotta give charity.
4.
Although I guess
Cleveland can't handle Boston. 4.
with my NHL picks, I always say I never pick a sweep. So I guess I'll say Boston in 5 just for that reason.
4.
And then, all right, so James King got a sweep. I think I missed what Jack Wagner said.
Boston's gonna walk through the East, but Minnesota will shut them down in the championship.
Ooh, you trying to protect that 200?
But see, here's the thing: I don't even have Boston coming out of the East.
He can't get it. He ain't got a horse in the race. He's a Lakers fan.
So hold on. So
Whoever gets 18 first.
I got you. All right,
You did that back in the bubble championship.
I got you. All right, KG. So finish that thought, because let's get that, and then let's get everybody's pick real quick, and then let's wrap this up.
But you got the Knicks in the East. Knicks is sitting at the number 2 seed. Jalen Brunson is playing lights out basketball. I think I wanted to see a Knicks Clippers series in the finals, but that's not going to happen because the Clippers suck. But you may get a Knicks Minnesota series, and I think that right there, you got the mecca of basketball and a small market team. I think that's going to be must see TV. You got Jalen Brunson versus Ant-Man.
So Knicks.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
Let's go back real quick. Knicks, Indiana. KG, you've got the Knicks, obviously, but how many games?
6.
All right, Matt. Knicks, Indiana. You got games?
Remember how Paul feels about Dallas? That's kind of how. I'm sorry, KG, but that's how I feel about New York teams. So I'm going to say Indy in 7.
Indiana in 7. Jack, what you got?
I like Knicks in 7. But last night, Brunson played like a dog. And he does every night, man, if you ask me. But he had the heart was just flying through the air, being in the right place at the right time and owning the boards. Hart had one hell of a game last night, too. Don't leave him out.
Here we go. You got to give my boy love, baby.
He was nice.
One of my favorite players, man.
He loves the rim, man. He likes being in the paint.
Yeah.
And how people don't throw a body on him every time the ball goes by is beyond me.
So think about this. Last night, he had 13 rebounds. Nobody was within 5 rebounds of him. All right, KG. You know what time it is. All right, baby. We got to wrap this up. I know we're doing some overtime. We don't normally do overtime, but let's go ahead and finish this out. And to wrap this up, Jack, I know you've done it once with us, but it's just kind of your thoughts. It could be anything, any topic. When it's on a Sunday, we talk about food, but since it's Tuesday, it's whatever. You got a sports drop you want to make, or
I want to talk about something that's coming up, and it's getting a lot of hype right now. It's kind of a joke, but it's sanctioned boxing. I'm talking about the Mike Tyson against that Paul boy. I don't know which brother it is, but his last name's Paul. Jake Paul, maybe?
It's Jake.
Yeah.
The wrestler.
Once it went sanctioned, I said Tyson gonna knock him out in 2 or 3. He's got to, because he can't go 5 or 6. He's 60 years old. That's July what? 6th, 8th? That fight? Beginning of July.
Yeah.
That's been on my mind the last couple of days. Me and my buddy was talking about it up the shop.
Well, I think one day we got to get a state of boxing conversation, but for right now, I'm gonna put a pin in it.
Well, I know you. Yes, because I know your state on boxing. I've heard it several times, bro. And I agree with you. I do. The right fighters aren't fighting the right fighters till it's too late.
Exactly.
And that's crap.
Exactly.
And there's too many belts. Too many belts.
Last night, real quick before we got to hit the eject button. Last night I saw Tommy Hearns versus Duran, and the night before that it was Duran against Leonard. Says it all right there. Matt, you got anything to close us out with?
No, I just want to thank you guys for having me on again. I enjoy this. It's good stuff. This is fun. This is what it's all about. Is is talking sports and watching him try to find his phone. I take it back. The last hour was nothing. Watching him try to find his phone. That was great.
Hey, Jack, hit the mute button next time. That way we won't hear it.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on over here, man. I'm all over the place.
I love it.
Trying to get my daughter in here to fix it.
James King said Kendrick or Drake. I'm taking K Dot all day long. Ghost over Tank.
Okay.
I don't think so. But hey, my final thoughts before we get out of here. Be sure to tune in on Thursday. We got some things we need to talk about. We need to talk about LBJ's legacy as it stands. And then we got to do this. It seems like we do this every year around this time. So we got to talk about it every year. We got to talk about it.
How do I get my show back up? Thank you.
Great.
There was a phone call that came across here.
You're watching live from your bed.
Well, that was my call in the Orioles management and talking about, Major League and all the people that are running it and trying to straighten it out.
All right.
Oh, my
Manfred on the phone. That was Manfred.
That's probably why you didn't accept the call.
No, I didn't. I don't have time tonight.
The call was blacked out.
Hours with him.
No. If he missed the call, that means he was doing his Angel Hernandez.
Angel Hernandez. Right?
What happened? The computer screen went crazy.
Oh man. Well, Angel is getting run for his money because CB Buckner has been on one lately too. Final thoughts. I just want to thank y'all. This was a fun night. I didn't think it would be this fun, but Jack losing trying to find his phone is definitely the highlight. KG, do what it do, baby.
Oh man, Jack Wagner said Bud Crawford is the best fighter in boxing right now. James King said agreed.
I like Crawford too. But the best fighter just fought the Canelo is the best fighter, pound for pound.
That's another conversation. Let's pin that.
He done beat everybody.
Jack, Matty Ice, thank you for showing up tonight, showing out, and doing what y'all do best. Of course, we say this all the time. You always got a seat at the table. There's always a chair spinning for you. All you got to do is sit in whenever you're ready. For the Midnight Rider, Jack, Matty Ice, myself, and the big guy KG, we don't do no overtime, y'all. Even though we did a smidgen, we up out of here.